Hey everybody, welcome back. I've had the pleasure of using the Pixel 9 for the last few weeks, and wow, I have a lot of thoughts. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe for more if you like what I do, and share it to anyone you think this could help. Let's kick it off with the design. I love this design, and in a few ways, it has a better design than the Pixel 9 Pro model. It is the same size and pretty much the same weight as the Pixel 9 Pro, just 1 gram lighter at 198 grams, and it just feels incredible in the hand. And actually, it feels better to hold than the more expensive Pro model. And that's because of the aluminum frame. On the regular 9 model, you're getting a matte finish which feels significantly better in every single way. Google, if you're going to stick with aluminum for the 10 series, which by the way, just go with titanium at this point with that price tag, but anyways, give the Pro models a matte finish. It is so much better. One downside, however, of this design is that Google opted for a glossy back finish. If you don't use a case, it will get greasy, but with the matte finish on the sides, it's never bothered me. Now for the camera, you're getting the same incredible camera, minus a couple of things that might not even matter to you at all. First, you won't get the dedicated 5x optical zoom camera module that the Pro models have, but I will be the first to admit that I very rarely zoom in for photos. If you're like me, you're going to love the fact that this shares the same main camera as the Pro models, and it's incredible. Another downside is that this year the Pro model made a good leap in quality on the front-facing selfie camera, going to a 42 megapixel ultra wide. The non-Pro Pixel 9 has a 10.5 megapixel camera. This isn't the end of the world, but yes, it's not going to look as good as the Pro. Here's a camera test between the Pixel 9 and a newer, more expensive phone, the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. Let me know down below, which do you think is a better phone for the camera? 4K 60 with the regular Pixel 9 and the Galaxy S25 Ultra, a much more expensive phone than the Pixel 9. And both of these are filming at 4K 60. I'm gonna look at the sun here. Look at the grass. Look at that tree. We'll do a 2x zoom. Back to 1. 0.6 wide angle on the Galaxy S25 Ultra. 0.5 wide angle on the Google Pixel 9. Go back to 1 on both of those. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna jog this way, and I have all my neighbors laugh at me. I'm jogging, I'm in pajamas, and I'm jogging. Okay, bouncing up and down, jogging. Okay, so you can get an idea of the stabilization. And there you go. Let me know down below, which do you think looks better? Is the S25 Ultra really worth that high price tag? I don't know, let me know. Now for the display, you're getting a beautiful 6.3-inch OLED panel. Please note that this is not an LTPO OLED, which we're going to talk about in the performance section, but with this OLED panel, you are getting 120Hz refresh rate, HDR10+, 1800 nits of high brightness mode, and a peak brightness of 2700 nits. This is bright enough to use in the sun, no problem. Resolution is acceptable for this screen size, coming in at 1080 by 2323 pixels, which is 422 pixels per inch density. It's not as high as the Pro model or other devices in this price range, but it still looks great. One thing that could annoy you a little bit is the larger bezels that this has in comparison to the Pro. I only notice them because I also use my 9 Pro and 9 Pro XL, but I think the bezels are completely fine. You really don't notice them when you're using the phone. Even with these larger bezels, you're still getting an 86.1% screen to body ratio. Overall, the screen is going to look great whether you are editing photos, playing games, or watching content for long periods of time. The software experience on this phone is nothing but incredible. This video isn't designed to go into all the details of all the cool Pixel features, but for some of my favorites, you have call screening, which is great for scam callers. I know I get a lot. Now playing, so you can easily find that song playing in the grocery store that you want to add to your workout playlist, and Pixel Studio for when you're feeling a little bit creative. The software itself is intuitive and clean. It's just a pleasure to use. And because it's a Google device, you're getting software updates swiftly and frequently. So if you're huge into having a secure device, the Pixel 9 is a fantastic option. And you'll be getting these updates for a guaranteed 7 years. This phone was released in 2024, so you'll receive software and security updates until 2031. For the performance, this phone is super snappy and fluid. I love what Google does with their software and hardware integration. You won't notice any significant difference between this and the Pro version except for two things. First, and even though I couldn't tell a huge difference, the Pixel 9 comes with 12GB of RAM versus the 16GB of RAM on the Pro. I don't think this matters for the majority of people. I am a pretty heavy user and don't notice any difference ever. The other difference has to do with the display technology we talked about a little bit earlier. The Pixel 9 comes with an OLED display and the 9 Pro comes with an LTPO OLED display. What's the difference? Well, it's a pretty important one for fluidity, especially when you're scrolling. An LTPO OLED display can dynamically adjust the display's refresh rate between 1 Hz when staring at something static like a document or something like that, and 120 Hz when doing things like scrolling. The Pixel 9 can get pretty close with this with software, being able to switch between 60 and 120 Hz as needed, but it will never be quite as good as an LTPO OLED panel. This makes the Pixel 9 still incredibly quick and fluid, but not quite as fluid as the Pro model. You're still getting the Tensor G4 processor, and yeah, it's not nearly as good as the latest Snapdragon in the OnePlus 13 or the S25 Ultra, but ignoring what you see on the benchmarks, it really is fast. If you want the most powerful phone, I would still go with a Snapdragon device, but hopefully that will change with the Pixel 10 series. For those who care about the speakers, here's a quick sound test with multiple genres against the iPhone 16 Pro Max.
a phoenix, you burst in a fire, burn, a thirst and desire. You transform right up in a flash. You've been knocked down and got up again. Corner, you're surrounded, no defenders. You hit your fury and kept it in. I know you ignite and turn to embers. Like a phoenix, you burst in a fire, burn, a thirst and desire. You transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings and rise from the ashes. Love me or hate me, partners invaded. Little lady's eyes on me. 여기 네 눈이 날 바라보는 눈빛이 이미 다 말해줘. I ain't gonna let anyone keep me down. No, no, you just gotta keep up 'cause I ain't gonna stop. Everyone just wanna get to know ya. 이미 시작. Love me or hate me, partners invaded. Little lady's eyes on me. 여기 네 눈이 날 바라보는 눈빛이 이미 다 말해줘. I ain't gonna let anyone keep me down. No, no, you just gotta keep up 'cause I ain't gonna stop. Everyone just wanna get to know ya. 이미 시작된 걸. How do you think I'm sweet? I'm sweet, so sweet. Focused on my honeybee. You just wait and see. How do you think I'm sweet? I'm acting good. How do you think I'm sweet? I'm sweet, so sweet. Focused on my honeybee. You just wait and see. How do you think I'm sweet? I'm sweet, so sweet. So we can say
The battery on the Pixel 9 is pretty good. You are getting a whopping 4700 mAh battery. I regularly get between 7 and 8 hours of screen on time with moderate to heavy use. To give you an idea of what I use my phone for personally, I generally do things like taking phone calls, sending text messages, watching content like YouTube, of course, listening to audiobooks, playing mobile games, Xbox Game Pass, and playing with emulators. Pixels have always had mediocre battery life, and I love that Google fixed this with the 9 series. One downside, however, is going to be the charging speed. I normally go from 0 to 100% in about an hour and a half, and wireless charging is going to take even longer since this maxes out at 15 watts wireless charging when you use the Pixel stand, or 12 watts with a non-Pixel wireless charger. Google needs to fix the charging speed with the 10 series ASAP. OnePlus could teach them a thing or two, considering the OnePlus 13 goes from 0 to 100% in about 30 minutes. But regardless, battery life is great, but charging speed needs to be improved. So, do I recommend this device? Without a doubt, yes. This is a definite buy for someone who wants 90% of what the Pro model offers, but for a cheaper price. I know I focus on the differences a lot in this video, but I can say that in real world use, I can't tell a significant difference between my Pixel 9 and Pixel 9 Pro. I completely recommend this phone. Thank you all for watching. Hit that like button down below and subscribe for more if you like what I do. And comment down below, is there a better phone out there in this price range? Let me know. I will buy it and I will review it. I will see all of you next time.